Listen, the fastest way to lose your peace is to start looking at somebody else's life. The moment you start scrolling through what they've got, what they're wearing, where they're going, you forget what's already in your hands. You forget that you've got a purpose too. See, here's what I've learned. Comparison will rob you of joy faster than failure ever will. You can fail and get back up. You can lose and learn. But when you start measuring your life with someone else's ruler, you will never feel like you're enough, no matter how far you've come. Comparison destroys peace. It's one of those silent habits that sneaks into your life and slowly eats away at your happiness without you even noticing. You start looking around, not because you're ungrateful, but because you're human. You see people online who seem to have everything figured out, a better job, a bigger house, a happier relationship, more followers, more success. And before you realize it, you start measuring your worth by what they have. You start thinking, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm behind. That's how comparison begins, not loudly, but quietly, like a whisper that turns into a storm. The truth is, comparison doesn't motivate you. It drains you. It makes you question your value, your timing, your path. It makes you forget how far you've come. You stop seeing your blessings because your eyes are focused on someone else's life. You forget that your journey is unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. The peace you once had about your progress disappears, replaced by anxiety and self-doubt. You start chasing someone else's version of success instead of creating your own. Peace and comparison cannot live in the same space. The moment you invite comparison in, peace walks out. When you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, you'll always feel small. You'll always feel like you're missing something. But what you don't see is the price they paid for what they have. You don't see the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the failures, and the lessons they had to go through to get there. You only see the results, the highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes reality. And when you start comparing your raw, unfinished story to someone else's edited highlight reel, you set yourself up for unhappiness. You have to understand your story is unique. The timing of your success, the shape of your blessings, the lessons in your struggles, they're all customized for you. Just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Sometimes peace comes when you stop asking, why not me? And start saying, my time will come, because it will. You just have to keep your eyes on your own lane. When you compare, you start living for approval instead of purpose. You start making decisions based on what will look good instead of what feels right. You start chasing validation from people who probably aren't even paying attention. But peace, real peace, comes from knowing who you are and being grateful for what you have right now. It comes from trusting that your story is still being written and that it's okay if it doesn't look like anyone else's. The world has enough noise, enough pressure, enough expectations. You don't need to add more by comparing your journey to someone else's. You need silence. Silence to hear your own voice again, to reconnect with what matters to you, to remind yourself that you're enough, because you are. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be either. That's growth. That's progress. That's something to be proud of. When you stop comparing, you start appreciating. You start noticing the small wins that used to go unseen. You start celebrating your own pace. You stop rushing and start trusting. You realize that peace isn't about having everything. It's about being content where you are while working for what's next. So take a breath. Look at your life. Look at how far you've come, how many storms you've already survived. That's not luck. That's purpose. That's strength. That's grace. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to keep becoming the best version of you. Because when you focus on your own growth instead of someone else's glow, that's when true peace returns. And once you find that peace again, protect it, because nothing is worth losing it over. Everyone's journey is different. It's easy to forget that in a world that constantly shows you other people's progress. You see your friends reaching milestones. You scroll through social media and watch people living the life you dream about, and you start to wonder, why isn't that happening for me? But here's the truth. Your story isn't supposed to unfold like theirs. Life is not a race. It's a personal journey with a timeline designed just for you. Each of us is walking a unique path shaped by our experiences, challenges, and purpose. Just because someone else found success at 25 doesn't mean you're behind if you're still figuring things out at 30. Just because someone else got married, bought a house, or built a business doesn't mean you failed if you're still in the process of building yourself. Your time is coming, but it will come when you're ready for it, not when the world expects it. The problem is we live in an age of comparison. We measure our worth by how quickly we achieve what others already have. But what we don't see is the full picture. We don't see their sleepless nights, their doubts, their moments of fear and uncertainty. We only see their victories, not their valleys. And when you compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, you'll always feel like you're falling short. You have to understand something powerful. Delay does not mean denial. Just because your blessing hasn't arrived yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. Sometimes life slows you down not to punish you, but to prepare you. The longer route may be the one that builds your strength, shapes your character, and teaches you the lessons you'll need when your moment finally arrives. Because success that comes too early without foundation often fades just as quickly. When you embrace that your journey is different, you stop rushing, you stop forcing things that aren't meant for you, you stop questioning why someone else has what you're still praying for. You begin to trust that the path you're on, with all its twists, setbacks, and detours, is leading you exactly where you need to go. Every closed door, every delay, every heartbreak is part of your preparation. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that everything made sense. We all bloom in our own season. A flower doesn't look at another flower and say, you bloom first, so I failed. No, it blooms when it's supposed to. The same sunlight that shines on others will shine on you too. But when your time is right, that's how life works. There's no need to rush what's meant to grow slowly, because some of the most beautiful things in life take time to mature. It's okay if your story looks different. It's okay if your timeline doesn't match anyone else's. The people you're comparing yourself to might be wishing for something you already have: peace, strength, or resilience. Everyone is fighting a battle you can't see. So don't envy their path. Walk yours with faith. When you accept that everyone's journey is different, you set yourself free. Free from the pressure to perform, free from the fear of being behind, free from the need to prove yourself. You start focusing on progress instead of perfection. You start appreciating your growth, even if it's slow. You start realizing that the journey itself, not the destination, is what shapes you into the person you're meant to be. So take a deep breath and trust your pace. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be for this chapter of your life. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep growing. The road may be different, but it's yours. And if you stay faithful to it, it will lead you exactly where you're meant to go. God made originals, not copies. Every person walking this earth was created with a purpose that is uniquely their own. You were not designed to blend in, to imitate, or to fit someone else's mold. You were designed to stand out, to bring something new into this world that no one else can offer. There will never be another you. Not in the past, not in the future. And that truth alone is powerful enough to silence every doubt that says you're not enough. When you look at how people live, what they have, or what they've achieved, it's easy to forget that your value isn't found in comparison. You start thinking that to be successful, you have to look like them, sound like them, or do things exactly the way they did. But that's not how purpose works. God didn't make you a copy. He gave you your own fingerprints, your own voice, your own mind, and your own path. You were created with specific gifts that are meant to impact the world in a way only you can. Think about it. No two sunsets are ever the same, yet every one of them is beautiful. The same goes for people. You don't have to match anyone's light to shine. Your glow has its own tone, its own timing, its own meaning. When you try to be a copy, you dim the very light that makes you special. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the real version of you. But too many people spend their lives trying to fit in instead of standing out. They chase approval instead of authenticity. They think success means being like someone who's already made it. The problem is when you chase someone else's calling, you abandon your own. You can't walk into your destiny wearing someone else's shoes. They might look nice, but they won't fit your feet. Your journey, your experiences, your pain, and your purpose were designed specifically for you. You have to stop underestimating what's inside of you just because it looks different from what's inside of someone else. Your gift might not be loud, but that doesn't make it less powerful. Your talent might not draw attention right now, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. The world teaches us to chase what's popular, but God teaches us to value what's true. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing to make a difference. You just have to be bold enough to be yourself. When you accept that you were made as an original, you stop apologizing for who you are. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop doubting your worth just because your path looks different. Being different isn't a weakness. It's your greatest advantage. It means you bring something to the table that no one else can bring. And when you embrace that, doors begin to open, not because you tried to be like others, but because you finally decided to be you. Every gift God gives is tied to a purpose. When you try to copy someone else, you disconnect from that purpose. You miss out on what was meant specifically for your hands. But when you operate in your own lane, with your own identity, the right opportunities, the right people, and the right blessings will start aligning for you. Because what's yours can never be taken by pretending to be someone else. So stop trying to fit in when you were born to stand out. Stop hiding your uniqueness just because it's misunderstood. You are not here by accident. You are here on assignment. Your life, your struggles, your victories, they all form a story that no one else can tell the way you can. When you walk in your truth, you inspire others to do the same. You give people permission to be real. You show them that being original is not only enough, it's extraordinary. So don't be afraid to be different, because that difference is divine. You are an original masterpiece, one of one, perfectly made with purpose, power, and promise. Focus on progress, not competition. In a world that constantly pushes you to compare, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your success by someone else's achievements. You see people doing better, moving faster, or living the life you dream about, and you start to feel like you're behind. But life isn't about racing others. It's about growing yourself. True success isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. When you make competition your focus, you lose sight of your purpose. You begin to chase goals for the wrong reasons. You start doing things not because they fulfill you, but because you want to prove a point. You start living for validation instead of vision. The problem with that is, no matter how far you go, it will never feel enough, because there will always be someone ahead of you. There will always be someone richer, smarter, faster, or more successful. If you keep chasing people instead of progress, you'll live your life in a constant state of exhaustion and frustration. Progress, on the other hand, is personal. It's quiet, steady, and deeply fulfilling. It doesn't demand attention or applause. It simply asks for consistency. Every small step you take toward your goals, every lesson learned, every obstacle overcome, every time you refuse to quit, that's progress. It may not look glamorous and it might not impress anyone, but it matters, because progress builds strength, patience, and character. When you focus on progress, you stay in your lane. You stop looking left and right. You start measuring your growth by where you were, not by where someone else is. That shift changes everything. It allows you to appreciate your own journey, even when it's slow. It teaches you that success isn't something you win. It's something you become. You begin to realize that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Competition might push you for a moment, but progress sustains you for life. Competing with others can give you motivation, but it often steals your peace. Progress, however, is peaceful. It's about self-awareness, not self-judgment. It's about asking yourself, am I improving? Not am I winning? When you focus on being a little better today than you were yesterday, more disciplined, more grateful, more focused, you start to see real transformation. You have to remember, your path is your own. No one else has lived your exact story or faced your exact struggles. That's why comparing progress makes no sense. Everyone is starting from a different place. Some people had head starts, others had setbacks. Some are running on smooth ground, others are climbing uphill. So don't measure your growth with someone else's ruler. Measure it by your own effort, your own journey, and your own heart. When you focus on progress, you stop being discouraged by how far you have left to go and start being proud of how far you've come. You start celebrating small victories, waking up early, staying consistent, keeping faith when things are hard. You begin to find joy in the process, not just in the outcome. And when you do that, life feels lighter. You're no longer competing, you're evolving. Progress doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks like patience, like showing up when nobody notices, like staying kind when life tests you. Those moments of quiet growth are the real victories, the ones that build the kind of strength no competition can match. So stop racing people who aren't even running your race. Focus on your lane, your pace, your purpose. You're not here to prove, you're here to grow. Every day you become wiser, stronger, and closer to your destiny. That's what matters. Don't let competition steal the beauty of your progress. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your heart humble, and remember, slow progress is still progress. The goal isn't to be better than anyone else. The goal is to be the best version of you. Comparison distracts you from growth. It's one of the easiest ways to lose focus on what truly matters in your journey. The moment you start comparing yourself to others, you stop paying attention to your own progress. You begin to look outward instead of inward. You measure your success by what others are achieving instead of by the quiet improvements you're making every single day. And slowly, without realizing it, you drift away from your goals, your peace, and your purpose. Growth requires focus, and comparison destroys focus. You can't move forward while constantly looking to the side. Imagine driving a car while staring out the window at another vehicle. Eventually, you'll lose control of your own lane. The same thing happens in life. When you're busy watching someone else's path, you lose control of your own direction. You waste energy worrying about what others have instead of building what you already possess. The truth is, comparison doesn't just distract you, it blinds you. It blinds you to your blessings, your progress, and your potential. You start to overlook how far you've come because you're too focused on how far someone else has gone. You forget that everyone's journey has a different timeline, different challenges, and different lessons. What you see as someone else's success may be the result of years of hard work, pain, or sacrifice, things you might not even see. So when you compare your current stage to someone else's highlight, you're comparing your reality to their results. That's not fair to you. Growth happens when you're rooted in your own purpose. It takes time, patience, and consistency. But when comparison takes over, it pulls you out of that rhythm. You start making decisions not because they align with your goals, but because they make you look like you're keeping up. You start rushing your process, trying to match someone else's timeline, and in doing so, you miss the lessons meant for you. What's the point of reaching success quickly if you lose yourself along the way? You have to remind yourself that growth is personal. It's not about being ahead. It's about becoming better. Every season of your life is preparing you for something, even the slow ones. But you'll never see the beauty of that preparation if your attention is fixed on what everyone else is doing. Growth demands presence. It requires you to stay grounded in your own lane and trust that your time will come when it's supposed to. Comparison is like noise. It drowns out the quiet voice of progress. When you're too busy watching others, you can't hear your own calling. You lose sight of your purpose and start questioning your worth. You begin to think you're not doing enough even when you are. And the worst part is you start to move not from inspiration, but from insecurity. That's not growth, that's exhaustion. But when you shift your focus back to yourself, everything changes. You start to notice the little wins, the moments when you handled something better than you would have before, when you stayed patient instead of giving up, when you believed in yourself even when no one else did. Those are signs of growth. They might not be flashy or public, but they are powerful because growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, personal, and unseen. So stop letting comparison steal your focus. You are not in competition with anyone else. You are in competition with your old self. Every time you choose to learn instead of quit, to grow instead of compare, you're moving closer to who you're meant to be. Keep your eyes on your own journey. Your story is still unfolding. And the more you focus on your growth, the more peace you'll find. Don't get distracted by what others are doing. Their success doesn't threaten yours. Stay focused, stay patient. And remember, you can't become your best self while you're trying to be someone else. Your time is coming. Even if it doesn't look like it right now, even if everything feels slow, delayed, or uncertain, your moment is on the way. Life has a strange way of making you wait, of testing your patience, of pushing you right to the edge before things finally start to fall into place. But that waiting season isn't wasted. It's preparation. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment is shaping you into the person you need to become before your blessing arrives. It's easy to look around and feel like everyone else is moving ahead. You see people achieving goals, living dreams, building success, and you start wondering, when is it going to happen for me? But what you have to understand is that life doesn't run on your schedule. It runs on purpose. And purpose has perfect timing. What's meant for you won't miss you, and what isn't meant for you won't stay, no matter how much you want it to. The right things take time, and the best things come when you're ready to handle them, not just when you want them. Think about it. If everything you're asking for came to you right now, would you be ready to handle it? Would you have the wisdom, the strength, the patience, and the discipline to keep it? Sometimes the waiting isn't punishment, it's protection. It's God holding back something good until you're mature enough to receive it without losing it. You might think you're being delayed, but in reality, you're being developed. Every struggle you face, every prayer that seems unanswered, every moment of silence is building something inside you. Resilience, character, and faith. Your time is coming, but you have to trust the process. You can't rush what's meant to grow naturally. A seed doesn't bloom the moment it's planted. It takes time underground, in darkness unseen, while roots are being formed. That's what your waiting season is, your rooting season. While nobody's watching, you're growing deeper, stronger, and wiser. And when your season of blooming comes, you'll be ready to stand tall because your foundation will be solid. Don't let impatience make you settle for less than what's meant for you. Sometimes you'll see people getting things faster, and it'll make you question your own progress. But remember, quick success doesn't always last. Real success takes time. The people who rush to the top without a foundation often crumble when life tests them. But those who wait, work, and build slowly are the ones who last. You might not be where you want to be yet, but that doesn't mean you're not on your way. Every small step, every hard day, every lesson learned is progress, even if you can't see it right now. The waiting season is where faith grows. It's where you learn to keep believing when nothing around you makes sense. It's where you prove to yourself that you're not giving up just because it's hard. The people who reach their destiny aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who kept walking through the struggle. They trusted that every closed door was leading them closer to the right one. So when you feel overlooked or forgotten, remind yourself your time is coming. You don't need to compete, rush, or beg for what's already yours. What's meant for you will find you when you're ready for it. Keep showing up, keep believing, and keep working. Even when it feels like nothing's changing, something is happening behind the scenes. Doors are being prepared, paths are being aligned, and opportunities are being built with your name on them. One day, everything will make sense. You'll look back and realize that the wait was worth it, that every setback was a setup, every delay was divine, and every silent season was necessary. Your time is coming. It may not be today, but it's on the way. Keep your faith strong, your heart humble, and your focus steady, because when your moment arrives, it will be greater than anything you imagined.